Okay, hi and welcome to Modeling Uncorked. We're going to design with wine and learn 3D modeling basics. Okay, so to start with, the first task is to get the glass of wine, which I've already done, and I've already started, so catch up, get on my level. If you don't want to drink wine, you can drink whatever you want. I'm gonna be disappointed, but I'll let it go. Okay, so I want to start as if this is the first time you've ever opened up a 3D modeling program, and I'm going to be using Rhino over here. I'm going to use the 64-bit one. You can install what feels comfortable. There's just basic movement mechanics that will probably translate to most modeling programs. For today's episode, if the further we get in, there may be more exclusive episodes to specific modeling programs. We might cover some Blender, some Rhino, obviously, because I just said that. Maybe some SketchUp, maybe some Maya and some Revit and some AutoCAD. So just kind of search for what you want. If I made a video, it'll be on here. If you want to request a video, put it on and I'll do my best to get it. There's usually free trials of things, so if you're still wanting to know if you want to 3D model, feel free to download a trial. Things like Rhino don't ask for your credit card, so they're not going to charge you after the 90 days are up. A lot of programs will watermark instead of charging. Anyway, so we'll go ahead and get started. So go ahead and double click on Rhino. You want to go to New, and right here there'll be several different templates. Pick whatever you're comfortable modeling in. For this tutorial, it won't matter which one you pick. I usually just pick feet, but you can pick whatever you want. Whatever works best for you. After that, this is not necessary. It can go away. Okay, so mostly what I want to talk about is something that no one told me when I first started modeling, and it was the most frustrating thing that I've ever experienced, and that is what to do with your mouse. So what I want to talk about is first when you open up Rhino, and this is the same for some other programs too, if it's not the same, you'll be in perspective. If you see just one screen, this is the one you're going to be seeing. But if you see all four, you're going to have, up here it says perspective, to the left it says top, and this is top view. And then you've got front, which is front view, which is like a first person, but imagine that you can't ever turn your head left or right. It's just front view. And then you have right, which will be like if you're looking at something from the right. And again, you can't move, so it's pretty simple, basic. When you first start, you'll be on a mouse, and this will be your select tool. And select will work over all four windows. If you select going downwards, it'll select everything in the box. If you select going upwards, it'll select everything it touches, which will make more sense once we actually have an object down. Right now what you're seeing is called the grid. And this is kind of like a home plate for everything that you're modeling. And it's size based on whatever metric that you chose. So if you chose feet, then this is probably something like, I don't know, 25 by 25 feet. And then it would change based on if you've got meters. It'd maybe be like 12 by 12 meters, but it would change size. Right now that's not super important until you get a little more advanced to actually putting, objects down. That's step 2. But step 1 part A is now the right key. And so this one rotates when you're in perspective view. So that'd be a good way to test if your modeling program is starting in perspective, is if you can press the right key and move around. This is going to change for the other ones. Once you get to like the top view, the front view, and the right view, it becomes this hand and lets you just glide over. Because again, there's no rotating in these views. Think about like you're playing Mario and you can only go in one direction. This will only let you go in one direction. There's no panning. It's a 2D world in these ones. If you want the same kind of effect in your perspective world, hold down Shift and the right hand key, and then you can pan in perspective. And now, this is a good bit, if you press Shift and the right hand key in any of these three, nothing happens. Don't worry about it, unless you want to. You can do it. This is with Shift, this is without Shift. No difference. And that works for all of them. Your perspective is the only one that will change. That's obviously because it needs more functions to be able to work. The next key that I wish someone had told me about, because before I started modeling or designing in any kind of way, I had never used, because I'd only ever worked in Word, is the middle button, and that rotates back and forth. Zooms in, zooms out. Zooms in, same thing with all of them. Now, with Rhino and maybe a few other programs, it does this weird thing that you can only zoom in so far, so sometimes you need a little more zooming capability than it's letting you have. I don't know what the point is of that, but if you press Control while you're doing... Okay, so if you press Control and the right-hand key, it gives you a little extra zoom, and that will work in all of them. Although I've really only noticed this weird glitch in perspective. I can usually get as close as I want to an object in any of these. It doesn't stop you, but the grid will eventually stop you and you can't get any closer. Okay, that's it for the most basic of basic tutorials. Have some more wine.